Hello. Hi. Hello. Hello. I don't know what to do today, but it's just a cloudy day outside, so got nothing to do. But I was talking about something. Not that I know of anything about it, but I was talking about dimensions, right? I was talking about art. I was talking about art because, like, every time you see a piece of art or whatever, like, what exactly is the piece of art? Is art is imagination, right? Because, like, every time you see art is projected from your imagination. So, what is imagination? Is another dimension, right? So, every time you think of something and you go through your imagination, your imagination is idealized from your memory, because, like, you can only imagine something that that your brain experienced, right? So every time you imagine something, your imagination is memory, because, like, you go through the memory of whatever however you have that memory or whatever, and that's imagination, right? So every time you go through a memory and you just, like, sit there and you think of something, you go through the dimension of thought, mind and thought and imagination. So what exactly is imagination on its own is memory, right? So I see art as like a access way to a spiritual dimension, right, which goes beyond the physical. So every time you see a piece of art, then it's sort of like a mental plane platform of, like, the infinite access way of, like, the infinite realm of, like, imagination is what it is. So every time you see a piece of art, it's sort of like accessing another dimension, right? So a piece of art is sort of like multi-dimensional, where you access another dimension, but it's clearly idealized from this one. Therefore, like, what you make of it from real life, right? So as an artist myself, I always draw, like, gestures and stuff like that. And therefore, that would be idealized from my physical being. So if I go through, like, my physical body or my soul or whatever, then, like, and I draw gestures as an example of, like, as, like, a form of yourself, right? As a form of a spirit body that you have, then yeah. So what is art really? I believe that art is a access way to, like, a spiritual dimension or a realm, right? So when people are, like, so, like, attuned to the physical plane, or they're so bound to the laws of physics that they believe that, like, there's nothing more to life than the physical life itself. Humans are just a physical body, and that's it. There's nothing more to the physical body. There's no such thing as soul or spirit or whatever. And they're putting themselves down as being, like, as like almost like an object. So when you see a physical object, are they saying to themselves, like atheists and non-believers, they're comparing themselves to a physical object that means nothing, and it's nothing more than just an object, right? It doesn't vibrate at any frequency or whatever. So as an artist myself, I see, like, if you pull out a piece of paper and a pencil and you draw something, you draw like you draw a cereal box or whatever, you draw like a car. The drawing is multi-dimensional because you're accessing what you imagine, right, in the realm of that imagination onto the piece of art, into real life, but it's projected or idealized from this dimension. So it's multi-dimensional, right? So yeah. So art can be used as a spiritual practice of accessing more than just like than the physical life itself. So I don't know what to talk about. I just left the voice recorder on because occasionally if you're sitting there by yourself and not saying one word all day or whatever, if you're sitting there alone, then I kind of use talking as a grounding. I just pull out a voice recorder and talk about whatever. I don't care about what I talk about. But, yeah. You just leave something on and you don't need to listen to whatever it's talking about. You just leave on like it's trying to keep me company. I don't know. I go to this track, but I don't want to walk to this place where I make recordings occasionally. I don't know. Man, what is today? I go through my older drawings. I used to draw as a kid, or not as a kid, I do it. I haven't drawn in forever. It's like 20,000 years ago. I don't know. So, is imagination an access way to another dimension, right? It technically is. So, every time you imagine something, it's not a physical thought, right? But it stems from the physical dimension itself. So, what is imagination is almost multi-dimensional, because like when you're accessing or thinking of something in the realm of imagination, you're in another dimension, right? But it stems from this one. So thought and memory it's not a physical it's not physically there, right? So when you think of somebody or something, then like what exactly, like how are you thinking of it, right? Is your brain creates the experience of the time that you spent having that experience, and therefore like it's a I don't know. So does thought in the realm of thought stem only from the physical body, or is this thought more than just like, is this thought accessing more than the physical, right? So every time you think of something and the thought is from your memory, which your physical brain and mind creates the memory, are you accessing the spiritual realm, right? So every time you think of something and you think closely about what a thought is, or like what exactly, like, how exactly are you creating these thoughts from the physical experience or whatever life itself? So if you go through your thoughts in your imagination, you imagine something and it stems from your physical reality, right? And yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that imagination goes beyond the physical, because like what exactly is an imagination being created, right, from the physical experience or the experience you've had doing whatever, and therefore your mind or your brain creates the memory, right? When your physical brain creates the memory, are you going beyond the physical when you think of something and you say to yourself that there's more to life than it, right? It's multi-dimensional. It's not a physical dimension, but it stems from this one. So in the realm of imagination, it's not a physical dimension, but it stems from the physical one itself, because it's idealized or projected from it. Are you accessing another dimension, right? I believe that you are. And what I'm trying to say is that imagination is another dimension on its own, right? Wow. So dreams are made up of your subconscious memories. So if you go through dreams, right, and they're not a physical experience but stem from physical reality itself, deemed having that experience and memory to have dreamed of it subconsciously or wherever you are. Dreams are made up of your subconscious daily life, or your dreams are your subconscious memories, right? Because every time you dream of your work or people that you hang out with, or memories and stuff that are created by your memories, right? So every time you dream, then dreaming, what exactly is a dream, right? Is a spiritual experience. So every time you dream or you have an out-of-body experience, it's technically an answer to human soul existing. So because the experience goes beyond the physical, right? So every time you have a dream, you deem it as a spiritual experience. Every night you go to sleep and you have many dreams, whether you remember it or not. It's seen as the same thing, right? So what exactly is a dream? Is accessing another dimension. So if you see a dream as like another dimension, where exactly are you in the dream? But it's idealized from the memories that you've had experience in this life, this physical life itself, right? So dreams could be multi-dimensional, therefore accessing another dimension, but stemming from the physical one, right? But it goes beyond the physical, as being like dreams are a non-physical experience, right? But every time you're in the dream and it's seen as non-physical, but it's stemming directly from this one, aren't dreams like astral projection, right? So astral projection is it's seen as like when your soul or your spirit leaves your physical body and you have experiences, and you have spiritual experiences in other dimensions, right? So technically dreaming is the same thing. So what I'm trying to say is that dreams are an access way to a spiritual dimension, right, on its own. I don't know anything about it or what I'm talking about, but yeah, are dreams really astral projections, right? I have to continue talking about this because YouTube only allows 15-minute videos. It's going to cut off after 14 minutes, so, hello? Okay.